Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on November 15th, 2023 at approximately 4:25 p.m. PST. Now, I've returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. I bill myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally use in my day-to-day life. And the philosophies of life I talk about are the precise philosophies I personally guide my own life and actions by. I've shared these tools with literally thousands of people over the years, with varying degrees of success, depending entirely on their own personal efforts. This is why I know for an absolute certainty in my own heart they will work for you. Now, we're looking today at choosing the right path for you. But before we get into it, we have Football Cat in with the gold. We have Derek Galloway in with the silver. Now, there's a lot of and welcome aboard, guys. Glad you can make it. And there is Nathan Nathan from the Quantum Show is in with the bronze. And we forgot to do one small little detail, so let's take care. Oh, we can't take care of that. Not enough screen space. So we take that, we pop that in place, and we go. This is the link to Nathan's show. And let's see, what do we got here? Oh, of course, we minimize that, and we can pop the link in right here. Now, this is the link to Nathan's show. So absolutely, drop in, give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, come out, give him a thumbs up. Certainly subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of the thing. Okay. Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Nathan. I always appreciate the fact that you take time while you're working to actually drop in and say boo. As we all know, it's absolutely critical that you put work as a priority. And Chad Smith is in with the honorable mention. And we do not get to do this very often. Don't get me wrong, I could certainly do it more often. But as per the way I usually do things here, Chad Smith. This is the link to Chad Smith's archives. Who knows? One day he may get back in the saddle here and pop a video up. But in the meantime, drop in, take a look at what he's already done. If you like what he has to say, give him a thumbs up, do subscribe to his channel, and then share the daylights out of it. It is really hard, guys, to find quality information on videos on YouTube, in case you hadn't noticed. Now, you get to figure out whether or not I'm putting out quality information, because frankly, I'm not a good judge of my own work. At least, if I am, then I'm putting out pretty second-rate stuff. But that's my own personal opinion. Now, we cannot argue with an invite like that. Just for those of you, well, for everybody, but Nathan is asking Chad to join him on the show, on Nathan's show. Hopefully, Chad will take him up on that. But time will tell. Now, where it comes to choosing the right path for you, let's start with the obvious issue. I consider it obvious. Okay, when somebody else says, this is the path you should be on, it's not, take it into consideration, absolutely. But ask yourself, the suggestion somebody else is making, does that feel like a real draw here? Okay. The really important factor is this. It's got to feel right for you. Now, I will tell you, if you're wondering why I'm looking around, it's because I always do. Whatever it is you're aiming for, the easiest way I've come across personally, and if you find a better one, let me know. But the easiest way I've come across to figure out what the best path is for you has been literally an issue of taking a look in the mirror and going, okay, or in my case, I look at the videos behind me. Okay. Now, you'll notice, as per usual, my bed come desk. Very soft bed, very soft desk when you think about it. Whoops, who's coming through? Oh, there we go. Now, when you're looking at what you're not content with, very important to get organized from the standpoint of what's holding your attention. In other words, are you content with your life? That's the easiest thing to look at. Okay, because it's so much easier to figure out what you're not content with at this moment than it is to essentially guess what you're going to be content with a year down the road. Okay, now that nearly came out badly. It's about to go exhibit 1. We're not doing the exhibit thing. However, blank sheet for me to get things listed as I'm going along. The list works like an absolute charm. As soon as you spot something you're not content with, mark it down. So I'm going to be building a list while I'm here. But the key is when you find something you're not content with, break it down into 15-minute to half-hour tasks. Okay. The reason for that is very simple. A 15-minute task means you can get it racked off and you can check it off and say, I got something done. Okay. Now, that's why I say 15 minutes to a half hour, where possible. If you're striving to for instance, renovate a room in your house. And when I mean renovate, I'm talking drywall the whole thing. Breaking it down into 15-minute tasks does not make functional sense. Okay, now, the other neat little kicker to all of this, here is these things. Much of the information I've got, I have done my best to document. Okay, this little book, you notice it's a really big one. This holds the backbone of how I literally took my life and turned it around. Now, here's the funny part about it, if there is funny. Inside this, not only do I give you the keys as to how to change your life, but I also give you one of the primary reasons for not doing it at all. Okay, because my thought was real simple. We are taught that change is difficult. Change is a problem. Change is painful. Change is scary. You get the picture? Now, let me point something very simple out to you. Okay, every thought you have, every sound you hear, every taste you experience, every feeling every tactile feeling you have, all of it is eliciting change. Everything you see, the fact you're looking at me, you're going through massive changes right here, right now. Anybody, let's see a show of hands. Anybody here writhing in pain because of the change is painful? Okay. The other thing we keep getting told is that, think about a better life. You think about a better life, positive affirmation. I'm changing my world. Okay. I'm going to have all the wealth in the world that I can possibly need. I'm going to keep reciting that day in, day out. And yet, I'm going to leave my butt glued to the chair. Okay, without a computer in range, and bear in mind, a cell phone is another computer. So I'm going to sit here, and like so many people have told me, just use positive affirmations. That will change your life. Yeah. And if you never get off the couch, it's not going to change you very much. You may feel better about yourself, but then it's going to dawn on you that you never got a thing accomplished. Okay. So, now bear in mind, any of these fine little books I end up putting down here are available right through me. But here's the kicker with figuring out the path you desire to be on. Let me ask you this, and I'm not talking about great big things like I desire to be happy in my life. Happiness is a side effect. It's a great goal, but it's a side effect. Very much like money is a side effect. And the money has to be a side effect. The moment you focus on money as a make or break deal, you're running into a complication. Now, how do we go about choosing the path? Well, let me ask you this. If you're looking at my office, okay, and I'm going to step out of the way here and ask you a question and see who comes up with what. When you look at the physical layout of my office, okay, what is the first thing that comes to your mind that needs to be here, that really requires changing? Other than I can't reach my Coke. I do have coffee. I got more coffee up front, so I'm good there. But when you take a look at this room, right where you're sitting, where you're looking right now, what is the first thing that comes to mind that requires being corrected? To move that out of the way for a half second. What do we got? That's the first thing you look at. Okay. What is, and I'm talking about looking at it from an objective standpoint, then we'll get back to looking at it from yours personally. Now, clearly, the odds are I'm not seeing what's going on. And yes, if somebody sees my, what, over here. Where the heck is it? Way over there. Somebody sees that skull. You ever see the eyes light up? You're doing good. I like that because I'm going to trip over it sooner or later. But take a look at your own home, right where you are. Because let me ask you this. Which is easier? Okay. Is it easier to change the mental state you're in? Okay. Or is it easier to change your physical world? This is the thing you got to look at to start with. Okay. Well, actually, to start with, that's technically the second or third step. First thing to look at is these four little words. I've shown them to you before. Okay. These four words. I am worth it. In any language I've ever come across, those four words in combination are the most powerful words I've ever seen in any language regarding self-motivation, self-awareness, self-actualization, self-esteem. You get the picture. Okay. You desire to change your life. It's time to change it for you. That's the real kicker to it. If you're striving to change it because somebody else said you should, and this is where you should be doing this with your life, I'll tell you, the only should, if you will, and it is my personal opinion, it would be advisable to do your level best to leave this world in a better state than it was in when you got here. Okay, so take a look at your physical world around you right at this moment. Pick one thing you're not content with. Okay, one thing, doesn't matter what it is. Okay, maybe it's a simple issue of you don't like this book sitting here. Now, here's how painful that is. I don't like that book sitting there. So I'm going to pick it up and put it there. That didn't do me a lot of good, but you'll notice it didn't cause me any pain either. Now, who is doing what? Oh, there we are. Now, choosing the path that is best for you. Your mental state is I heard it put one day this way. Your mind, your physical world, is a reflection of your mental state. So if your mind is really cluttered, so is your physical world. But here's the kicker. If your physical world is really cluttered, your mind is also going to be really cluttered. Celeste, how you doing? Glad you joined us. Chad. Let me think. Closest thing I've got to a telescope, Chad, is I've got a set of binoculars. Okay. I don't actually spend a lot of time outside on my deck, though. And bearing in mind, I've got a matter of fact, give me half a second. I might be able to show you something. It's either here or it's up front. No, it's up front. 10 seconds. Just dropped it. I think it's a tooth. I don't know. Chad, this will make a lot more sense to you than it does to me. Where are we? Missouri man, how we doing? Glad you could join us. Okay, now. Let's see what I got here. Whoop, don't want to do that. I don't know. But that's the closest thing. And this thing is a Carl Schmidt triple tested power guide. 7x50. Field is 7.1% coated lens. Now, that's the best I can tell you, but that's what I've got. And it's apparently broken because this one's missing a lens. Okay, I don't have it anymore. This is going out the window. Oh, there it is. It's broken though, so I'm not playing with it. Eventually, so when I said it's a question of figuring out what you've got, okay, and see what's of any use. Now, due to the fact that there is no way on this planet that I'm going to bother trying to repair a set of binoculars, put it back in the bin. Somebody else will come across it at some point. Okay, but this neat little thing is now gone the way of the dodo bird. So no, Chad, in all fairness, I really don't. So that eliminates that from my class and from my stuff. And what have we got? Missouri man is just adding here. I did, yeah, that was neat, but looks like I'm going to have to buy another set eventually. But Missouri man has come in, symbiosis, mind and body. And the body of a man is the same as the body of the earth. Essentially correct there, Missouri. Okay, in my case, way more than you might think. But take a look at the world you're in. If the state of the room around you is a reflection of your mind, then the state of your mind is also a reflection of the room around you. Now, let me ask you this. Which is easier to change? The way you're thinking or the way your physical world looks? That's the next step in choosing the right path for you. What's the next step to work on? Now, in my case, okay, and I can lay it all out, but let me ask you this. And you can keep this to yourself. You don't have to answer. Okay, I will warn you, though. Not warn you. I will remind you, if you haven't joined us before and you've got a question, even if it's not in the same topic, okay, put it in the chat room. Okay, put it in the chat room with all caps. Okay, partial caps, or at least a wavy hand so I can find it. What do we got here? Yeah, now, the neat part about it, I'm going to end up losing my coffee, and I am not going to be happy about that. The neat part about it is this. Okay, you've got control over your environment. Okay, with that in mind, ask yourself what you're content with. Do not worry about whether other people are going to like what you're up to. Okay, remember, the only time you have to really functionally worry about that, and this hopefully, I'm betting does not apply to one of you. Okay, if you're living under your parents' roof, okay, then yeah, frankly, if they put a rule in place, you've got to follow it. If that rule is, let us know what you're up to, then frankly, while you're living under that roof, follow that rule. Okay. But if you're living on your own, or if you're in a dominant position, bear in mind, when I talk about dominant, little bit of a sidetrack. If you have a partner, be it another male, another female, I don't care. Okay, it doesn't matter to me if you consider your partner a dog. Okay, but if you got a partner, they are not somebody to answer to you. They are a partner, somebody to discuss things with. Remember karmic law. Be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. And energy out, energy in. Okay, by following those three laws, each of them equally important, as are the three legs in the three-legged stool. Okay, but decide what you're looking for. Now, I personally am aiming for the best of the best. That means all of this clutter that I don't require has to go. Okay, now the first thing I'm doing on my list, and this is what I'll be getting to, part of it I'll get to while I'm online here. I've got my computer desk, right, or my computer desk, okay, or computer station is more to the point. Do not like pens that don't want to work. So that goes in there. Oh, where did my little pen go? Okay. One of the advantages of actually being in an office that's somewhat organized is I can find another pen pretty quick. Okay. So the first thing I do, there's the pen I was missing. First thing I do is I take a look right here. I know you can't see it, but the first thing I've got to do is get the computer station moved, cleared. Then this desk over here, which is right beside me, okay, that I call my computer desk, and it's the next one to go. And then we take the computer shelf. Now, here's the thing. I now have 3 things on my list that really aren't going to take very long to sort out. But by getting the stuff out of the way, what you'll find is not only are you able to function more effectively, but your thinking will be so much more clear. So much clearer. So much for English. Now, don't desire my phone to die, so I'm going to plug that in. But you got to remember, when you're picking what is best for you, okay, it boils down to this. Not what does somebody else see as important, but what do you see as important? Okay, what gets your attention? That is the first thing we have to take a look at. There we go. Now, the way this works is real simple. We take a look at the situation that you're working with. Okay. Now, I've got my desk right here. Like I said, this is a computer station that I've got. This little calculator goes back into a very specific location, so I don't have to find it. When you start clearing the stuff out, the energy in your life will take a turn for the better. You'll find you've got more of it. You'll find you think more clearly. Now, don't take my word for it. Really don't. Experience, if you haven't done this already, it's time to start experiencing it. Okay, but the only way you're going to do that, okay, is if you pick up the tools that we're talking about. My workstation is now, my computer station now itself is now clear. Okay, now, I've also got it over on my left side here because I got to start working on my left hand or it's not going to heal. This is clear because I haven't done a thing with it in 4 years. Absolutely there, Missouri. Okay, one thing I will point out about Feng Shui, and thanks so much for bringing it up. If you look at Feng Shui with all the books that are out there, they're all based on Oriental philosophy, and they work like an absolute charm in Japan, in China. Absolutely, they do. Okay, now I can't tell you exactly how they do it. I can tell you they'll say, put one section in the northeast corner, put another section on the north wall, put something else over on the west wall. This is great in Oriental society, in Japanese culture. The system works like an absolute charm. Okay, because their entire culture is built that way. But let me ask you this. How many neighborhoods that actually have freestanding houses look the same? Okay, yes, there are these neat little townhouses that are all cookie cutter and apartment buildings. You just take a great big building and go plunk, there it is. Okay, but when you look at the layout of the culture, the place is not built. I don't know about the city you're in, but the one I'm in Kelowna, does not work quite that way. No doubt there, Celeste. Now, I've got, like, in my apartment, a couple of things that Feng Shui does extremely well, very translatable into Western culture. Okay. First one that you take care of. Now, the reason I focus on the computer station to start with is because this is where all communication, all financial decisions are dealt with. Even in your world, it is presumably your computer area that you're working with in today's world. Used to be the dining room table where you just spread out paperwork and worked on it. Okay. Now, I've got my computer desk. Now, obviously, and I know you can't see this part, but I've got my mic right here. Okay. Got my coffee cup. That's a very important little factor. Okay. Now, these books that I just brought down all have a very specific place to go. So we put them where they belong. This little item here, okay, that worked. This little item here is going to, this is a chart that actually, it literally says it's a Mayan time decoder. Okay, it's a translation device that's already been spoken for. So it will get put aside. It's already got a place to go. So I think what we'll do I have anything here? I'll put that under there. That'll work. Whoop. Yeah. Pop that in there. It already has somebody else that asked for it. So it's already spoken for. It'll go. Okay. Now, A couple of things that are very important. Where you're looking at the energy flow in your house. Again, this helps you. This will help you figure out what your next step is. Okay, let's just take a look here. Oh, one thing about binoculars there, Chad. Somewhere in my collection, I have something called a set of barnoculars. They look like binoculars, and they hold about a Mickey of alcohol in each eyepiece. They used to be really good for guess what reason? Essentially, yes. Okay, you're absolutely right, Missouri. And again, the more balance you get, okay, is a feng shui literally means wind, water. The funny part about it is most people talk about 4 elements: earth, water, air, and fire, and a 5th being spirit. I have come to understand there are only 3 basic plus spirit, making a total of 4. Because when you take a look at water and the way it moves, the way it responds to obstacles, etc., and you take a look at the air, they both move the same way. And of course, we all know as air gets cooler, it condenses and becomes water. Guess what? This means wind and water are the same thing. Okay, now this is just something that I personally have come to understand. Okay, you want to work with 5 elements instead of 4, be my guest. Okay, I'm not the only individual on the planet here. But I will tell you, the more smoothly the energy in your house runs, the more clearly you'll be able to focus on things. Now, I've already got my computer station is dealt with. That has to go up front, but I'm not going there right now. So it can sit there along with this. Those can go there. Now, other than that, over on this desk, okay, over on this desk beside me, I've got my tabletop calendar, my desktop calendar. And by the look of this, I'm going to need a new one pretty quick. But yes, I'm still very much a dinosaur. Okay, don't expect you to read this by any means. But this covers all the odds and ends I'm working on. Now, what did I do here? Oh, I got to mark that off. That's right, too. Today is the 15th. Today is the 15th. So we go. I gotta see how many I did there. So that's okay. I now have my desktop clear. Okay, all it's got on it is what actually belongs there. And again, you'll notice I had 3 things on my list. 2 of them are already done. Yeah, definitely. Robert, how you doing? There's a heck of a way to come in. Robert, glad you could join us. And there are people that will take that concept and go, oh, but that's what I was really looking forward to because I like the feel of it. Personally, I'm not of that ilk. Okay. But I've now got my computer desk and my computer station is dealt with. My computer desk is now dealt with. The computer shelf, all that's got on it is my zip drives, my dongle attached with the zip drives and all the peripherals plugged in, a lamp, my coffee, and my Coke, and of course my printer. So my whole workstation in just while I'm talking to you, and this gives you an idea how hard this can be, okay? While I've been talking to you, I've just taken the energy in my office right here and cleared it all out of the way. Okay, that's how simple these tools are to put to use. Now, where do we go from here? Okay, my shelf is now done. Pen in my left hand isn't going to work well. So, and the reason for that is I've got to get the angle on the pen with my left hand proper. If I grab, however, a pencil, a mechanical pencil, I can work with it a little easier because I don't have to worry about the exact angle. Again, it boils down to modifying your method of doing things to what works for you. Robert, that is not a fun thing to have. I've had vertigo way too often. You guys have seen me have it. Okay. The one thing I have found works for me, okay, is when I start getting vertigo, I sit still for a couple of minutes and just concentrate on making certain that the room settles. It's not entirely effective, but it is better than not working with anything. Now, the computer desk is now clear. Okay, my entire workstation at this point has it's got absolutely nothing on it that I don't work with. Okay, that's just the way it's got to stay. Okay, now, what I'm aiming at is this, just to put that in perspective. Okay, I desire my world to change. Well, the only way that's going to change is if I get off my tail feathers and make things move. Okay, and move the stuff out of the way. Now, we get here, and again. Now, this is a little harder for me right now. I used to write extremely quickly with my left hand. Bear in mind, my left hand actually comes out mirror image. But I figure I work with it long enough, it will sort itself out. Now, my office floor is just this section here. Okay. And of course, this is an important part. Like I said, it's my floor. This is on my office floor. This thing, don't panic on it, never been a gun. It was made for Halloween. And this neat little gun, I used to carry it right here. Okay, I'll tell you, like it used to sit in a holster right there. I will tell you, it looks real enough up close to make the cop stop and ask, "Is that real?" And the reality is, it's never been real. Okay, this started off as a chunk of wood, a little bit of scrap metal, and a pipe, and then of course caulking putty. Okay, but a friend of mine made it. Now, you can see why the police were a little concerned when they saw me with this on my dashboard. Okay, in the dark at Halloween, I was dressed as a road warrior. This was my weapon. This is also the weapon that that Blade in the Yldrbacian Chronicles packs around. Okay. But this was never real. It does, however, and two things about it. You can't shoot somebody, but I will tell you that's solid. You don't want to have to get hit by it. That's for absolute certainty. So, put it back where it belongs. And now, even my office floor is clear, and the energy in here is absolutely bang on the money. This little monster here, let's see if it's small enough to go in here. And lo and behold, it is. So we put it there. Flip. There we go. Now, pick that up. We're going to put that over here beside the hard drive because I've got just the right amount of room to put it there. By getting the energy sorted out in your primary work area, where you work on your finances, where you work on your planning, this will clear your head enough that you can function a little bit more effectively. Chad, I've been working on a few. What is today? Today is Wednesday. Therefore, let me make a note of that. It'll be a little off kilter, but we're going to swap things around this week because I know you guys keep asking and I keep putting it off. What is this? I have no idea why I wrote that. Oh, that's why I wrote that. So we're going to do the things a little off kilter. This week has been out of sorts. So, with that in mind, I'm just going to mark this down here. Saturday, we are going, because I got to get some of these done anyway. Saturday, we're going to take a look at some of the figurines that I'm working on. It's not so much I got new ones as I've got a lot I haven't done any work on. So on Saturday, I'm going to have a bunch of them brought out and explain how those go about being used to make certain I can keep things moving in the right order. You know, we talked a little bit yesterday, I think it was yesterday, about the political arena in my gaming worlds and how it really does interact. Now, here's the kicker. So I've got that for the figurines on the 18th. As a matter of fact, I think I can actually do that. I'll bring some of the figurines in, but I was also going to be looking at pentagrams. Oh, no. That's wrong. Friday the 17th, we look at pentagrams and their use. Pentagrams and the fairy star. Okay, the 18th is Saturday, and we'll swap that over and take a look at those on Saturday. I've got some I've been working on, but at this point I haven't made a lot of headway. Well, blew my computer up, and I will tell you that really screwed things up. How you doing, Ferret? Glad you could join us. Now, I've got the energy in my office set so that it works very smoothly. I do like having a letter opener right handy. It's got a great place it can sit without a problem, without being in the way. Okay, and now I get to start on that shelf. But what is the next step from your life? What are you not content with in your life? Any takers? Because it's time to start working on them and time to start making things change. Okay, but those changes happen by your effort. Simply put, frankly, God's not coming down to straighten out your mess. He gave you freedom of choice. He gave you free will. He did not give you freedom from consequence. So it's up to you to choose the direction you're heading in. Okay, but time to open the door and make this happen. Now, I've got mine laid out. That works out rather well. I just got to see what's in this box. Ow, that hurt. Oh, look at that. I thought that was full. It is not. So, when you take a look at your life, okay, and I mean what you've got direct control over, what are you not content with? with the way your life currently is. Okay, that's the thing we have to take a look at. Well, you don't have to. Okay, we're taught right from the get-go that you've got to have an overall plan. You've got to know where you're heading in order to be successful. I'm telling you, no, you don't. The massive majority of people, and I have well over 100,000 clients to back this up, the massive amount of people turn around and don't know what they desire to do with their life until they're in their mid 40s to early 50s. Okay, I was a little late. I didn't really figure it out until I was in my late 50s. Okay, no, I guess it would be the mid, because I'd have been 54 when I finally figured it out. 54? Where are we? No, 63 and 50, born in 63. So I'm looking at 37 and 20 is 57. So yeah, realistically, I'm looking about 57 years to figure it out. Carl, how you doing? Glad you could join us. You don't have to have a plan when you're young. You really don't. What you do have to have is an awareness of what you're content with. Once you start eliminating the things you're not content with, you'll find things change very quickly. Okay. Now, for me, I take a look at this. I'm looking in the camera right now, and behind me, I've got a couple of things. Now, of course, this little option stays there so I can get a hold of it. That has to stay. What is it? Oh, okay. Those are there because that way, when I go to leave the room, I can take them with them the next time. But it boils down to energy flow. Okay, now, where are we? Farrah goes, I'm stuck in a pretty good job, but hate the environment. I won't leave until I'm 60, and then I want to play bagpipes and cuddle puppies all day. Need to monetize that. Absolutely. Well, the cuddling puppies all day might be a bit of a problem. And don't get me wrong, I encourage you to do so. But, okay, and I'm not going to ask your age on national television, on the internet here, Farrah, but I will tell you this. Whatever your age, okay, doesn't matter. Start writing down what you desire that to look like. Okay, now I will tell you, and you know this better than I do. Okay, you desire to monetize playing bagpipes. Become a visible teacher. You absolutely do. So let me ask you this. Okay, because since you're the one that came up with the first door, let's work on that, shall we? First thing you look at is what, in your opinion, what is your hourly from a financial standpoint? How much do you feel you should be earning in an hour to comfortably live? Now, bear in mind, the way to figure that out, okay, the easiest way to figure that out is figure out your entire expense list, your rent, utilities, insurance, food, all of that. Okay, figure that out. Once you've got an overall package. Now, to put that in perspective, I can run my entire household, food, utilities, rent, insurance, transportation, all of it. I can run really high on the hog at $2,500 a month. Okay, now with that in mind, once you've got that number, and yes, in answer to that question, Farrah, I do. This is what I do on my own. The other thing I do is I sit down with people, and I am not a trained financial advisor. What I am is somebody with 60 years of struggle under my belt and over 100,000 clients that have turned to me for guidance. Okay. about 30,000 of those have been business. And I will tell you, running a household, running your finances is essentially, it's a business. Okay. Well, all you gotta do, get bagpipes, put the fun back in funerals. That's so much better than the day that they buried the guy that built that wrote the Hokey Pokey. You know, everything was fine. I mean, it was a bad day. You know, the guy dies, but everything at the funeral ceremony went really well until they went to put him in the coffin, and they put his right foot in, and he put his right foot out. Then they put his left foot in, okay, and he shook it all about. Needless to say, the funeral was a nut house, and by the time the funeral was over. But I absolutely agree with you. If you're listening to somebody that knows how to play a bagpipe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ferret, in your experience, is it not wise, if you're going to play the bagpipes, know how to at least tune them to a degree? And I'm referring to a good degree, not the degree I have. I swear I'm half tone deaf. But absolutely, start a plan together. Figure out how much you have to charge, okay, per event, or how many events you would have to do in a month to meet your expenses. Okay, that's how you work out your time frame. Figure out how much it is. Okay, figure out how much it's going to cost to run your household. Then you break it down. You take that number, divide that number by 22. Why 22? Well, because your average work week, your average work month across Canada and or the United States, I don't know about the rest of the world, okay, is 22 days of work. Okay, so now taking that for example, in my case, I take the 2,500 I require. I divide that by 22 days. I've got to be making $113 a day. Okay, to make and to live comfortably. And like I said, in my case, that would amount to living high on the hog. Now, that $113 a day. Now, in order to not overwork yourself, divide that number by 6. Okay. And all of a sudden, if I divide that number by 6, as in 6 hours a day I desire to work, if I'm only making $19 an hour, okay, I can live quite comfortably. Now, bear in mind, $19 an hour, okay. So realistically, from that standpoint, I have to work. Well, considering I charge $80 an hour or $20 every 15 minutes, I should be able to generate a decent income pretty quick with just the consulting. But what I'm looking at is getting into more of the education side of it. Okay, the consulting, do not get me wrong. Okay, now, if you require $25 an hour, and this is great, remember though, you know, I know you're in Canada, so do not forget, every hour that you bring in, you put aside 1/4 of that. Okay, so in this case, you put aside at 25, you're putting aside $6 out of every hour's income. Put it aside in the bank to deal with taxes. This way it eliminates the problem for down the road. Doxy, how we doing? Glad you could join us. That gives you a price. Now, if you're going to play for a party, now understand, I see so many people turn around. Oh, I see. Yeah. And that is correct, Ferret. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's 5 an hour. Now, with that in mind, if you're going to go play a party, the mistake most people in any industry make is I'm going to set the scale up. If I'm doing a party, I spend this, I charge this much. If I'm doing a business event, I'm going to charge this other amount because they can afford more. I'm telling you, it's a bad idea. Pick the wage, the wage you feel you deserve. Okay, that you're worth. Remember that thing about I am worth it. Set your price, write it down, and start working on it now. Now, I'm betting, even though you're working full time, I'm betting dollars to donuts you're not working 24/7. Start building your reputation now. Start setting up gigs. Just an encouragement sign on my end. Okay, start setting up gigs so you can actually start making that happen. And by the time you get around to retiring, you'll have a full swing business up and running. Okay, this is the thing we got to look at. It doesn't happen overnight, but if you start now, you can have it set up beautifully. I was just talking to a financial advisor, not an advisor, somebody that had access to the finances, okay, today, to make certain that my son, when he goes to retire, will be very well taken care of. You know, and this is just the way I'm doing things for him. Like I told him, I'm not letting him walk down the same road I walk down. You know, I think I'm French here. I don't know if French people actually talk with their hands, but get it written down on paper. Okay. I've already got my office floor is already set up, is already clear. So I've already got the energy running here. Okay. Now it's time to set up the rest of it. And when we do that, we look at this side of it. Over here. Now, because they got no place else to put him, that sits nicely. These are all very fine condition comics that I'm going to be getting rid of. This is just loose paper, is just blank paper that I use for keeping tabs of my lists. Because my lists, as I get done them, I shut them down. I shred them and turn them into recycle. Okay, but you've got a price. You figure $25 an hour will do it. Start today. If you haven't already done it since it was brought up, take a moment, grab a sheet of paper, and literally charge literally put down that you are charging $25 an hour. Now, this said, whether you're going to a birthday party, a funeral, a bar mitzvah, whatever it is, okay, whatever celebration, doesn't matter what the celebration, leave your price the same. Okay, it eliminates a lot of things, not the least of which is if somebody likes what you're doing and they know they paid $25 an hour for you, they will pass on the word. Okay, that's the big thing you look at because it's about visibility, it's about marketing. To make your path work, you still have to take into consideration that finances, as in paying for your livelihood, is a requirement. It doesn't work well if you don't have one. Now, if you don't have an income, I'll tell you, it creates all kinds of problems. Now, I'm just going to put that there to keep my temperature down a little. Okay. Now, again, this is not a question knowing where you desire your life to go. This is a question of where is your life right now, and are you content with it? If you are content with it, this is fantastic. I'm betting most of you aren't. Most of you are not content with the way your relationship is, with the way your life path is. It's time to change it. Now, let me ask you this. Who here would like to change their life from what it is right now to something you consider better? Not something I consider better. Okay, because let's be honest. You're changing your life for the better is not going to have a whole lot of bearing on my life. Okay, but it's time to take a look at it and go, this is where we're heading. Okay, now right now I've got the 15th is there. Tomorrow won't be here. On Friday, we will be looking at pentagrams. And on Saturday, like I said, we're going to take a look at, I'm going to make sure I've got some of the figurines in place. I intend on having a few of them cleared up and out of the way. Okay, and, I'm ready to show you and go, this is what they now look like. The thing is, I've got an image in my head of what I desire my life to look like. Okay, I'm no longer working to make sure it fits what other people think I should be doing. Okay, I've been working really hard at getting a plan together. And here's the neat part about it. While I'm doing this, I'm taking a course right now. I've been taking guidelines from other people. I'm going to turn around and take that information, modify it into my own outlook. Okay, so that I can help pass that same information on to other people. Okay, the way I figure it, the information that I'm being handed makes sense. And right now, I'm not doing as well as I would like. So, is there anybody in the chat room that is really content with the way your life is running right this moment? Okay, just a curiosity thing. Now, I know Doxy and Doxy, this is literally directed at you. I trust you got wind that I did bring on that. I did get your request for a connection on Facebook. Honestly, Ferret, in my case, I am now content with the path I'm on. Where are we here? Yeah. Nathan goes, not me. I can stand to change some things, working on it. Absolutely. And the thing is, Nathan, the moment you identify something you're not content with, that's the thing to change. Doesn't mean that you have to eliminate it. Yeah. Now, Nathan, just a thought. Okay, I realize you want to build the full scale, but I'm presuming you're working on just a little model to make it work first before you build the full scale. I'm just speaking of which, we really do have to sit down because I've got in my head, and it may help you, I don't know, but I've got up here the schematics, not just for yeah, exactly there, Nathan. Nathan's just going proof of concept. Oh, that's incredibly exciting. Okay. I ended up with an image in my head on how to combine hydroelectricity, solar electricity, and wind electricity all in one unit. And that unit, I don't know how big it would have to be. I'm thinking done right, it could run very easily on a tabletop version. But I need somebody, I require somebody that understands electronics and power lines. Okay. I've got a lot, all of this worked out. I know what it looks like. I don't know how to put the power lines together. Ferris going, I'm grateful for the privileges I have. I live a comfortable life. I just have to put up with a lot of frustrating people at work. I can understand that all too well. Whatever you do, okay, remember, you're only with those people for maybe a third of the day. I'm guessing that you're only working about 8 hours out of the day. Okay, as far as your job goes. This means you've got 16 other hours to work with to bring your spirits back up where they belong and to accomplish the things you personally desire to attain. Okay, now I have started to work on and literally started to work on sketches and what have you. What do we got? Yeah, exactly, Ferret. And Lord knows I've got a bad habit of putting my foot in my mouth, but I'm very good at it. You know, I should have, in a lot of ways, I look at it and go, probably would have been wise to pull the plug on my job before it folded, or at least set things in motion so that everything was running smoothly. At this point, things are starting to move in the right direction. So now it's just a question of making it happen. But I am content with the fact I've got a battle plan in place and I know it works because I've used it in the past. I just got off track, but I've handed it to other business people. And bear in mind, if you're a business, if you're not a homeowner, but if you have a home, you have a business. That business is to run your home, to keep the bills paid, to keep food on the table, to keep everything in proper working order. This is the same thing you do in a business. Okay. And the one thing I'm looking at here is I'm not the one to tell you what your best business is, but I will tell you how to figure it out. Okay. And again, we're going to go back to the sheet of paper here. Okay. On a sheet of paper, on a computer, doesn't matter. It's the same idea. Nathan goes, things happen as they're supposed to. People are in places and situations as needed. All plans are for our higher selves. Yeah. The only difference between you and I in that one, Nathan, is I don't believe. Thanks so much, Chad. I do appreciate that. I personally don't believe in the term supposed to. Supposed to, should. Those are somebody else's perceptions. Okay. There are things I'm not content with. But I will tell you, the layout of my room right now is so much better than it used to be. But take a sheet of paper and write down the first 12 things that you enjoy doing. Okay? And it doesn't matter what they are. Let's say that you're like me and you enjoy having a cup of coffee first thing in the morning. Now, that goes on your list. Write down to whatever it is. If you enjoy selling, if you enjoy people finding a new home to buy, if you enjoy interior decorating, whatever it is, write them down. Maybe you enjoy putting your shirt on backwards. Maybe this is one of the things you have a real rush out of. Okay. Now, clearly you're going to, at least I sure hope you enjoy more things than just 12. That's the funny thing. Higher self, to me, higher self and your physical body are one and the same. Okay. I understand the terminology, and with that in mind, it makes sense. Because technically speaking, your higher self is the guy that is operating the vehicle down here. Okay. But, when you take a look at it, hopefully you enjoy more than 12 things. But you write down the first 12 things that come to your heart. Okay, whatever you enjoy, whatever it is, write it down. When you get to the 12th item, stop. Okay, Yes, you undoubtedly enjoy others, but the first 12 are the critical issue. You stop writing them down and you turn around and you shortlist it to the ones out of those 12 that help other people. Now, I will tell you, I enjoy coffee first thing in the morning. Later in the morning, at noon, afternoon, at supper, you get the idea. However, this is not going to make other people, it's not going to help other people. My drinking coffee may make me a little bit more tolerant of other people, but it doesn't do them much good other than that. On the flip side, if you enjoy serving other people, if you enjoy being a host, okay, and serving people coffee, this is something that will help other people. So you check that one off, it's going to help. Okay, if you enjoy receiving a massage, not going to help a whole lot of people. If you enjoy giving massages, you've got something that does help other people. You shortlist it to the ones that help other people. This will drop it to 5 to 6 or 7 items right off the bat. Okay, then you shortlist that list of 6 or 7 items. Shortlist it once more immediately, asking yourself, which of these things I enjoy doing can I make a living at? Now, if you enjoy serving coffee, you can make a living at it by getting a job in a restaurant that sells coffee. Okay, once you've got that, now you've got a career, a job that you can go after, whether it's a career as in self-directed or a job as in working for somebody else. That's your call. As a matter of fact, it's all your call. But once you've got that in place, okay, now you can turn around and start making that happen. And the reason it works is this. Julie Farrell, how you doing? Glad you could join us. The reason it works is because when you've got something that you're doing that you enjoy, it's not going to feel like work. The fact it generates an income means it's not hard to do. You'll be able to put the time aside to make sure it happens. Okay. And this is the key to making it happen. Is figure out what you're content with and focus on that, not on what other people are content with. Okay. Maybe a friend of yours doesn't like the idea of serving people. Maybe instead they prefer drawing cartoons. Okay, start drawing. Do not keep putting it off, because the only thing procrastination is going to do is delay your success, whatever success looks like to you. But once you've got that list of 12 pared down, you'll have 2 or 3 other things that you enjoy doing. That will give you a couple of directions to work on. Now the neat part about it there, okay, is when you do that. Now, I'm going to ask you something really bizarre here, Julie, just because it just popped into my head. Julie has gone, always love listening to people, to a positive message from my friends. Can you think of, off the top of your head, or even with a little bit of thought, can you think of a way that you could take that enjoyment and turn it into a positive event whereby you can actually generate an ending where you can help people and subsequently generate a higher income? Okay, almost everything in existence can be monetized in a positive fashion, but it does take some thought. It takes a lot of work to get things organized. Now, I was just looking at something here and I can't see it with my head in the way. Although if I remove my head, I might have a bigger problem. Now, this shelf here, I don't need to do anything with. Oh, I know why that's there. this thing, the reason I'm moving this computer is because it will be used for something else. But fact is, that shelf is already spoken for. And again, like I said, figure out what's not working and change it immediately. Okay, you don't delay it, because all delaying it does, don't need that. All delaying a change does is, well, frankly, delay it. But see, those two shelves, now this is the other thing I look at. Okay, whenever you find something you enjoy doing, if you can actually make that into an income, you're no longer working. Okay, now those two shelves back there, okay, the ones I was just working on. Okay, this gives you an idea how that comes together. I clear those off. That bookshelf is literally for my other half when I get her moved up here. Okay, but it's time to start clearing all the stuff off it that is not hers. Okay, and the intriguing part of it is she doesn't know half this stuff is here. What do we got here? Oh, okay. So find something you enjoy. I enjoy writing. I do enjoy the feeling I get from other people feeling better. Okay, net result, thanks to your guys' encouragement, okay, and your encouragement, your support, I'm focusing on here, and the newsletter, of course, I will be dealing with tonight, because it's supposed to come out in 2 days. Well, it's already written, so that's good. Let me just make sure. Perfect. That got in. So let us go back to where we are. When you're looking for a path, just remember, the path you're looking for is the one that feels right to you. Okay, that's the critical thing you have to look at. Well, I don't want to talk to you, I don't think. I have no idea who that is. It's amazing how many of these people I get phone calls from that really have no bearing on me. Oh, we want to set you up with a pay plan for Visa. Yeah, but I don't want to take Visa right now because PayPal does it for me. Oh, I am just checking there. Give me half a second. I just noticed, Ferret. Let me see. Now let's double check spam. Would have had to go through there. So. Oh, thank you so much. But I'm looking in here. Holy mackerel, I got a lot of people doing that. Yeah, who pray tell is Temu? Well, it's blocked that badly, it wasn't for me. I'm looking in here, Ferret, and at this point, I don't see one coming in. Let me see here. Oh, it's priceless. It does not look like I did there, Ferret. Black Dragon, how you doing? Gee, I don't even have to look at your name anymore. Where are we here? Semper Fi there, Black Dragon. I'm betting that it wasn't saying that you didn't sign it, the Ferret. because I'm looking in here. What would I be? I kind of have to ask as far as this goes. Where are we? Ferret. It's under. Okay. That would be a problem. Here. I don't desire you to have to say your name on live. If you text me your name, I can look for it. Oh. Just resent it. There we go. Let's go back and double check. Ah, that one I did get it. And you will absolutely get a copy. It comes out, well, like I said, it'll come out in 2 days. So, and yes, it will absolutely be in your email in the next couple of days here. And I've just got, all I've got here is a note from me to actually make sure I get it to you. But we take that and we start it, and there we go. Yeah, you will absolutely have the next copy. Now I can, and this is your call. Okay. Would you like a copy? Well, thank you very much there, Cowie. Would you like the back issues as well there, Ferret? I've still got all of them in soft copy. Oh, Black Dragon. You tried texting me and said my number doesn't exist. I'm pretty certain since I've had it for about 15 years, it does. But just to make sure you got the right one. Now, I can't tell you country code. That's up to you to figure out. Okay, now that said, and yes, I know people say, oh, you shouldn't put your number out. I'm running a business. Putting my number out might be an idea. Okay, but with that in mind, do make sure you text me and let me know that it's coming in. Otherwise, because again, a staggering number of phone calls from people, I look at them going, I don't know who you are. And frankly, so many of them are going, X number of dollars, we'll do this for you. Or you've got a package, like I was just looking at one here. I go into spam and we have this neat little one here. What is it? Just saw it a second ago. Yeah, I don't like that. Oh, yes. Temu, I love people that do this. Temu sends me a notice. Notice for Inner Voice Enterprises. That's me. The problem is there's no notice. And it ended up in my spam box. That's where it's going to stay. But I do regularly check my spam to find out if something that belonged there. Oh, you're funny. Air Canada Department, confirmation such and such. We've been trying to reach you. Yeah, only I don't deal with Air Canada. This is always a pretty big red light. And again, when you're looking at picking the path you're on, use your brains. There's a lot of people out there that will tell you this is the way that, they will help you, give them X dollars. Don't. Again, and emails are a big one. Do not hit a hot link on a computer, on an email, unless you know specifically where it's coming from, and then be cautious. Yes, you might call me a little paranoid on occasion. I've been called worse. Okay, I got a whole pile of things here I got to deal with. But absolutely fair, and I will end up getting that back to you. Matter of fact, why don't we do this? Take that, and we just go reply. Here we go. There we go. Yes, I have to think while I'm trying to type, but that's okay. And we send that. I just sent a return email to you there, Ferret. Okay. And that way you should get notice. That'll tell you whether or not it arrived in the right place. Uh-oh. Yeah, puppers needs for dinner. Yeah, they usually are. Funny thing about pets, in my opinion, they are simply put four-legged, fuzzy, furry, scaled, feathered kids. And that's not including the Sasquatch. Absolutely fair. That's not a problem at all. I mean, it's gone through a lot of evolutionary changes. But where are we here? There we are. Like I said, to get yourself on the path you feel is right for you does not require somebody else saying, here's the best path. Absolutely talk to people, see if they can see something that may be beneficial that you may enjoy. If you haven't tried it, in most cases I would say don't write it off. On the other hand, there are certain things I've personally tried I recommend you don't try. I remember going to a restaurant one day and I apologized to the waitress ahead of time. I said, look, I'm going to ask you something I know you guys don't like. Right, but I'm going to ask you, I've never been to this chain before. What would you recommend I try? And she, I said, what would you recommend on the menu? And she stood there for a moment and thought about it. Then she leans really close to me to make sure that nobody's here. And she goes, I'd recommend you don't try the meatloaf. Which from my way of thinking was kind of a cute way of looking at it. So, do I have pets of my own? No. Do I deal with everybody else's pets as people? Absolutely. When you're looking to get on the track that you feel is right for you, this is a question of what are you drawn to? And I went through it in a lot more detail earlier on in this stream. Okay, and we'll undoubtedly do so again. But today is Wednesday. Okay, yeah. So we've got today dealt with. We are going to look at the value and functionality of pentagrams. Okay, and for that matter, centigrams. Because by looking at those, you can figure out how to modify the energy around you in a much more practical, much more direct impact. Okay, just a thought. Now, let me see something here. I didn't want to deal with that anyway. So we take that and leave it over there. Now, it's kind of neat. I'm looking at a lot of changes coming up. Oh, and stupid, no. Did you have a typo? Did you hit the wrong number? Certainly, but do not look at that as stupidity. Okay, errors happen, and errors are not a stupid thing in the first place. Stupid in my opinion, is if you looked at it and you knew it said 448 and you deliberately went 488 in the hopes that it would get to me. This would be stupid because you knew at that point that was wrong. Okay. Now, the reason I don't worry about putting my name on there is, well, shock. Two big factors. One, I'm running a business. Two, if I don't like the person I'm talking to, I can hang up on them. Works out kind of easily that way. You know, and Julie goes, all of my children are non-human. You know, I've thought of that myself with my own two. Problem is, my two actually look human. But no, the nice part about it, when you get an idea of what you desire to do, and it really means figure out what you're not content with. Okay, what just came in here? There we are. Just received. You do realize, Cowie, that you only put in half of the message, or at least only half the message came in. But I did receive it. You know, from my standpoint, I do my best to go through to stay on top of things now. I have spent so much money trying to get somebody else to do it. Now I'm finally taking the time to really get a handle on it myself. But if you desire to be on the path that's best for you, if you don't remember, real short rendition. Put a list of 12 things together. Okay. I was thinking we were right at the end, but apparently not. Oh, we still got a half hour. This works out well. Put a list of 12 things together. The first 12 that come to your heart that you enjoy. Doesn't matter what they are. Short list that list to the ones that help other people. That'll drop you to 6 or 7 right off the bat. Then you check off the ones that help enough other people that you can potentially build a business around it or build a stable income. This will drop you to 2 or 3 items. Then you know the path that's going to work for you. And the reason that works is because you're starting with something you enjoy and working on that, with the money being a secondary income, or more to the point, the money being a side effect. Okay, with the money being a side effect, what happens is the money will come a lot more freely. And I don't know about you, but much as I am not materialistically oriented, I have come to the understanding that a lack of finances is a royal pain. Absolutely, Missouri Man. The thing that we got to ask, Missouri Man is going, many changes are ahead and very soon. Absolutely. The question you got to ask is, are you going to focus on the negative changes, as in the news is telling us war is starting in this sector of the world, we're having a food shortage over there, we've got land shortages there. You talk to one young lass in the United States, don't know whereabouts she's from, but apparently we're having a shortage of gravity. We're going to be in serious trouble pretty quick. And in all fairness, if we have a shortage of gravity, we will be in serious trouble. But the question you got to look at is, are you going to focus on the negative things that are happening or the positive things that you're working on? Okay, that's the real kicker to it. And this is why I'm starting to focus to build things properly from my standpoint. Now, let me see here. Did anything come in that I need to know about? Whoop. Not that I gotta worry about there. Let me go back to that. Now, the nice part about it is once you've got an awareness of where you're aiming at heading, okay, once you have an idea of what you're not content with and what does make you happy, now you've got a direction to head off in. But even if you're not content with your current lot in life, if you've got a stable income, like the job or not, doesn't matter. Hang on to it until such time as you got a replacement income. And again, replacement income boils down to figure out what it costs you to run the household. Okay, divide that number by 22, which according to my studies over the last 30 years, well, realistically, starting just shy of 40 years, I have discovered that the majority of people work a 22 day month. So whatever it costs to run your house. In my case, it costs $2,500 and I'm living really nicely. Of course, I got a smoking deal on my rent. I've been here for 10 years, so I'm only paying $1,000, where people in the same size building, same size apartment, are usually paying upwards of 35. 3,500. But you take whatever it costs to run your household, that's rent or mortgage, doesn't matter which. Okay, your utilities, that is your power, your cable, your water, your sewage, whatever utilities you got that you're paying for. Your insurance, rest assured it's a good idea to have it. Okay, let us not forget food and that other fine little thing. Remember the entertainment. You do require it. Many people say, no, cut back, cut back, cut back. Bad idea. I like the other one. Find another source of income. Ideally, find 3 streams. Okay, each of which covers at least half of your required income. That way, if one of them tanks, you've still got your full income. So in this case, I'm going to take $2,500 an hour, or $2,500 to run the month. Divide that by 22 days, gives me $113 a day. Now, because I don't desire to be working all the time, I have to do that anyway, but you take that and instead of going 8 hours a day, divide it by 6. Okay, and by doing that, I've got to be making $18 an hour. Now, in my case, because of the industry I'm in and the length of time I've been at it, okay, this means I have to do 22 if I'm just looking at a 15-minute rating. Okay, I can actually make ends meet. This is setting the bar really, really low. Okay, I'm getting $18 every 15 minutes. Okay, so fair, I need 18, well, just about $19 an hour. Well, at $19 an hour, I'm 15 minutes. So that means that I actually, if I divide that, now what do I do? That's what I need to charge. But we go 500. Whoop, that's right. 2,500 divided by 22. I got to be making 113. Well, that means since I'm at work, since I'm doing, I only require 113 a day, meaning I have to work half an hour where it comes to the consulting side of things. If I get a half on doing that, but that's because I haven't been pushing the issue. If the way to pick the direction you desire to go in, find out what you're enjoying. Find out what makes you happy, not what other people say you good at. The fact you're good at it, if you're not content with it, you're going to end up spending more money trying to convince yourself you're happy than you are. This is a recipe for disaster. Now, here's a thought for you. Are you one of these people that is on the verge of bankruptcy and you're considering filing bankruptcy, going to a bankruptcy trustee, and getting out of the debt? If you are, I will tell you from practical experience. Okay, I went bankrupt twice. Okay, so I'm not a financial advisor in as much as I've never been trained. But the financial advisors I've gone to that were trained erroneously guided me. Well, maybe they did it on purpose. I'm not entirely certain. But they did the wrong thing, in my opinion, and guided me into bankruptcy. I'm telling you, if you don't desire to go bankrupt using your money and your stubborn streak, I can certainly point out how to avoid it. I've done it multiple times for people. And yes, this is one of the things that gets my attention, that I found I do enjoy, is taking a basically hopeless situation and going, here's how you can regain power over it. Not by cutting out everything you desire to do. Although I will tell you this, if you're drinking heavily, strong recommendation you really back off on it. Do not breathe coffee. Really bad idea. My computer didn't breathe coffee well either. Hence why I had the problems last week. I'd like to be able to breathe if you don't mind. But picking the direction you desire to go is done by looking in the mirror and going, what makes you happy? Not what keeps other people off the back. Okay, so many people I talk to, well, I can't go into music like in Ferret's case. I don't know if she's back in the house yet. Okay, but as in Ferret's case, okay, it's a question of she enjoys, by her own words, she enjoys playing the bagpipes. Okay, nobody has to tell, nobody, it's really a bad idea to listen to other people. Uh-oh. Thanks so much for joining us there, Julie. Glad you could join us. Hopefully the rest of your night goes well. When you find something that grabs your attention and holds it, this is the path to go on to really make your life better. Okay? Because you're the one that's got to be happy, not everybody else. Okay? And I will tell you, the moment somebody says, that tells you, and I see this a lot with the religious communities, oh, you're doing something that God's not going to like. He's going to punish you. First rule of thumb, God gave you free will. God gave you free choice. What he didn't give you was freedom from consequence. So is he going to be upset if you listen to heavy metal or country? He doesn't care. Listen to whichever one makes you happy. Just treat everybody around you in a positive fashion. It's that simple. You desire your business to grow. You desire you to become prosperous. Treat people the way you desire to be treated. This will draw the right people to you. Okay. Now, I have... Where did I put it? Not up there. Do I not have it visible? Actually, not by the look of it. By George, I think I left it up front. Oops. That's okay. I'm not going to walk up there and get it right now. The thing we have to realize is your life, you change your life for the better, and I will tell you, it will immediately start having an impact on the people around you. Okay. Well, these little pinholes of light in an otherwise round future. Those little lights will start to expand, and they will eventually turn into a massive conflagration that we no longer have to fear the future. Okay, there's not much point in fearing the future. You think about it, whether you desire the future to come or not, it's coming. Okay, the question you have to decide is, are you going to be on the positive side of it and riding the up wave, or are you going to be looking at the valley and going, no, I'm going to stay down here and just keep myself depressed by constantly filling my head with all of these things that can go wrong? Now, I will tell you, things do go wrong. Okay, and it doesn't necessarily matter how much effort you put in. It may well turn around and go very wrong for you. But because of that, if you stay focused on the things that you're enjoying, and that's where you put your understanding, that's where you put your focus, what you'll find happen is your life starts to run a whole lot more smoothly. But it's up to you to get off the couch and make it happen. Okay? People worry about the zombie apocalypse. Here's the zombie apocalypse. Right here. This is also how every one of you that has one of these has been shipped. Now, in my opinion, I don't care. Let's face it. I had the CIA out of the States show up on my doorstep by name, looking for me by name, regarding the information I'm sitting on regarding UFOs and regarding my understanding of them. Okay, Donald Trump, before he became the president, okay, had a complete dossier on me. So am I worried about anybody else? No. Fair goes, I'm guilty of inaction. My partner calls me on it. I'm quite good at inaction. I even went so far as to think about joining a procrastinators club. But the fact of the matter is they kept postponing it. So we never did get it off the ground. But I did find, there's an old saying, never do today what you can put off till tomorrow. I had it down to a slightly better setup. I went, never do what you can put off. I didn't even bother finishing the whole, I didn't even bother putting the effort into finishing the whole sentence. I just simply truncated it. Never do what you can put off. And the reason for that is I didn't want to do anything. Now I'm looking at, and like I said, when I started tonight, all of my workstation was completely full. Okay, now it's completely empty of everything except what I require. Okay, now what do I got here? That can go back out of my way. Put that phone over there. I'll deal with it later. But I do have to. It'd be nice if I could write at the same speed I used to. But right now, my left hand doesn't work as well as I'd like. And yes, I got told today, while I was working on a few other things, I got told today I should actually, if I desire to start making things happen, I should start a blog. Now, from my standpoint, much like you guys, I have a tendency of putting things off. What is this? Yeah, fair goes. I complain about this and that. So, well, do something about it. Absolutely. But remember, you can only do things, you can only do it for you. You cannot fix other people. Okay. Now, there is an old saying that goes, duct tape can fix anything, which is misleading. Because the follow up to that is duct tape cannot fix stupid, but it can muffle it. I'm a firm believer that duct tape is highly underrated for what it's capable of. Okay. But when you take a look in the mirror and you figure out something you're not content with, as it was put to me, I told somebody one day, I said the last thing I desired to be was on a pedestal. And the guy looks at me and goes, wait a minute. You cannot stop people from putting you on a pedestal. You cannot stop people from looking up to you. Okay. He says, what you've got to make certain of is you don't look back down at them as though you are on a pedestal and therefore better than they are. Okay. Now, I will tell you, I myself do not see myself as any better than any one of you guys. Matter of fact, most of you have a stable income, much better than what I've got right now. Okay, so it really boils down to a question of seeing what I can do to start actually marketing my own skills and start generating an income. Because clearly, I can't wait around for the world to actually take care of me. Not going to happen. Neither can you. You desire your life to be different. Pick something that draws your attention, something you enjoy, and start working on making that an income. Okay. The other thing, and it's a very important little phrase to put down. Okay. Figure out what you require in a month. And you literally write on a sheet of paper, preferably put it on your fridge. Because everybody reads whatever's on the fridge, it seems. But the saying that you put there is I have acquired a minimum of X dollars, the X being whatever it is you require to run your household or your business. I have acquired a minimum of X dollars by 1 minute to midnight on the last day of the month. This will help you stay focused on a climbing income. Okay. And it's something I'm putting into motion. Well, I've already put it in motion in the past. Then probably quit doing it and everything fell apart. Not a great testament to the fact it worked. Of course, like I said, I make my miscalculations. I have been known to be stupid on a number of occasions. Okay, now what it is look in the mirror and decide what you're not content with and start changing it. I wasn't happy with the state my office was in. It is now set up properly. Okay, now all I gotta remember is when I get done for the day, put everything away so the desk is completely clear when I get up in the morning and I can start over. Yes, it means picking the stuff up and bringing it out to work on it. But it also means that you're starting the day clear. Okay, hopefully this is making sense. But this is why I say you take a look at it, you make the small changes one step at a time, and it will become a habit. Okay, of course, in all fairness, if you really want a habit, you're going to have to learn to sew, or go to a convent and get one from them. Bear in mind, a habit is also what nuns wear. I'm not sure if you really want one of those habits. Okay, but what I'm striving to do with this stream, with the newsletter, is I would like to start a brand spanking new pandemic. That pandemic being smiles and well wishes between people. Okay, as the movie showed it, okay, years ago, I think about 20 years ago, there was a movie that came out that was called Pay It Forward. Okay, I don't know if it's available anywhere anymore, but I do know it was a good movie at the time. And the concept was certainly real. Now, the big thing from my end, okay, it's just an itty bitty question for you guys. Are you ready to change your life starting today? Okay, this is where we're working. Okay, and this is why one of the first courses I'm going to be laying out. Okay, and yeah, I will do it on a very minimal cost. Not because I don't figure it's valuable, but because of the fact that so many of you have no clue where to start, it would seem. You know you desire your life to change, but how do you go about changing it? So what I'm doing is putting a course together whereby, and I will be able to teach this online. Okay, whereby you will be able to actually get started, see quantifiable evidence before the end of the course that you are making headway. Okay, no point in taking a course and then sitting there and not doing anything. Lord knows I've taken enough courses and done nothing with them. Okay, this is why after so much work with the government, I'm finally signed up for a course in computer operations, both the basic one and then level 1 and level 2. So that by the end of November, the end of the first day of December, I will have a handle on making the computer work properly. But I'm doing this because I desire it to happen for me. And trying to learn it myself has been a miserable collapse. Okay, people say it takes just a little bit of time. I've already spent 40 years at it. Well, yeah, I've already spent almost 45 years trying to get computers to do what I'd like them to do by learning it on my own. This hasn't worked. Okay, and there comes a point where it may be an idea to quit banging your head against the wall. Just a thought. Okay, but with that in mind, pick a direction that you're content with. Find something you're not happy about and alter that thing. Just like I did with my entire computer, my entire office setup here. When I did that tonight. Now, if you've enjoyed the stream, do give us a thumbs up. Give it, subscribe to the channel and then share the daylights out of the thing. Tomorrow is Thursday. I won't be here. But on Friday, we're going to take a look at the pentagrams and the power of them, why they work. Okay. Rest assured, we're not going into witchcraft for those of you that are worried about it. Or for those of you that are going to be disappointed about it. I'm still not going into witchcraft. Okay. But I will be back. Okay, that's just the way this works. Yes, I go through my rough periods. Everybody does. So with that in mind, I want to say thank you so very much for sharing your time with me, for joining me tonight and joining in with the conversation in the chat room. And I will return, until that point, do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.